Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This video is going to contain a bunch of new info from the Destiny TWID that's just come out, including some updates about the voice acting situation in Destiny 2, because there have been some changes made based on the strike that's going on right now, and we'll be talking about a lot of the Renegades drama and some extra information that Bungie's provided based on that conversation and that discourse, which is also further in the TWID. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I'm trying something new out today. I've never done this before, but I've got this tablet for my lore streams and lore breakdowns for Destiny. And so we are actually going to be able to draw, which is pretty neat. And I'll just use that to sort of highlight stuff as we go. Thought it might be a nice change and help stimulate you guys a little bit if your ADHD is going crazy while you watch me read this text. So it introduces us here. That's just the sort of start of it. Can it be July 15th already is how they start off. On Tuesday, we announced that the Year of Prophecy begins on July 15th with the launch of the first expansion, The Edge of Fate. Our reveal stream covered many other topics, so let's go over them for those who might need it, and you can rewatch it below. I've got lots of breakdown coverage on my channel already of it all. The next chapter of the ever-evolving Destiny 2 universe is The Edge of Fate, launching in just over 2 months. That is so soon. Like, when you think about it, as far as I've ever been told by people in my chat, Destiny expansions are usually getting like 6 months of marketing. The fact that this one only has these 2 is kind of crazy. Guardians will explore a new destination, Kepler, while using abilities never seen before and with the help of new allies. The Edge of Fate also sets the stage for our next saga, the Fate Saga. We've seen this graphic, I've done breakdowns in other videos, I'm not going to focus on that right now. In addition to the Edge of Fate expansion, major core game innovations will be introduced to Destiny 2, available to all players. One of the main ones will be the Portal, a new activity selection screen tailored to different playstyles to make it easier than ever for players to find their next adventure. And in some of my streams recently, when I've been trying to like queue into missions in the Shadowkeep campaign, for example, and like not quite getting the right one and stuff like that, and the director being a little unclear at times, it really shows how much need there is for a portal. So I like the fact that this is coming. This is good for me. I'm definitely a fan of it. And you guys might have spotted, if you're sort of eagle-eyed, this little quests... Oh, wait, no, sorry. Actually, this little world header here, not the quests one, the world header there is the replacement for the director, but the director itself is still behind it. It's just that it's being renamed as World, so you can still access that. So armor and gear systems are also evolving to create richer opportunities for build crafting. Players will experience set bonuses, a rework of character stats, and armor that starts with full energy. You've got these Aeon renewal strides being shown off here, so these have these set bonuses, as you can see. After a final blow with any grenade or rocket launcher, sprint for a short time to gain speed booster, and obviously some of this is going to be sort of TBD, subject to change, I'm sure. Notice also that the power is lower. They are doing a power squish, which I believe they talk about later in the TWID, and also notice that there's 11 out of 11 energy there as well, and all of these are different to what you will have seen previously. That's going to be new in the expansion. So, during the Edge of Fate reveal event, we also announced Destiny 2 Renegades, the second expansion in the Year of Prophecy, slated for release on December 2nd, 2025, inspired by the legendary Star Wars universe, keyword being inspired. Renegades merges Destiny's distinctive storytelling and gameplay with themes and elements drawn from the iconic sci-fi franchise. Let's go down a little further still here. The Edge of Fate pre-orders are now available. Year of Prophecy Collector's Edition is also available, yada yada, okay, that's all lovely. If you want more detailed information, yada yada, cool. And then there's the post-reveal FAQ, and this is where things get a bit more juicy. So, since the moment the reveal stream ended, we've been collecting questions from the community on what was shown. There was a lot to chew on, that is very much the case. While we're planning many follow-ups, blogs, TWIDs, interviews, etc., and even another stream to dive through changes to the core gameplay of Destiny, we wanted to deliver a few answers to trending questions. Now, before we go any further, I think another stream is good news, but I want to see a vidoc. I think that would be absolutely huge. I think I saw maybe Scarrow tweet about this today as well, and I really agree that a vidoc would be a really good addition here to their marketing, and I was kind of surprised there wasn't a vidoc for the reveal stream over the past week. Like, I kind of assumed that would be a given every single time, and then was a little surprised when it didn't happen. Granted, I don't know how these things work, so it's not for me to say whether it should or shouldn't, but I'd like to see a vidoc. I feel like that would help kind of clear things up for people in a really polished way as well. So, let's go on to some of the FAQ. Will Renegades be a Destiny story? It's the first question on the FAQ, and it's not even the next expansion. It's the expansion after the next expansion, the Edge of Fate, right? So this just goes to show that Bungie clearly are having to deal with this massive blow up in conversation about Renegades and how it's completely detached from Destiny and it's just Star Wars only now and stuff like that. There's been a lot of debate back and forth about that topic. I've posted my video on it, so you can watch my thoughts if you'd like. But Bungie are basically reiterating what I said in my video here, which was this quote from Robbie Stevens, the assistant game director, who says, "Rest assured, Guardians, everything in Renegades is in canon for the Destiny universe, but we're leaning into the aesthetic, tone, and vibe of Star Wars to tell a Destiny story with Destiny characters. So we're not going to be seeing Boba Fett as an NPC that we go and talk to, and then Boba Fett tells us that we need to go and kill R2-D2, right? Like, it's not going to happen. I've seen some people making some pretty sort of bad faith arguments based on my video yesterday, where I was like, we're not going to be spawning in as General Grievous and like cutting a load of Guardians in half, like canonically, right? And people were saying, well, actually, you can spawn in as General Grievous as like a cosmetic ornament. So like, the problem is there. It is as bad as we've been saying, but that's a cosmetic, right? We need to make sure that we're being honest here about the difference between a world where General Grievous is going to hunt Zavala down versus a world where we can dress up as General Grievous and basically cosplay General Grievous in the game via ornaments, right? Very different things. So I think that's important to be clear about. And yeah, they say it's going to be the aesthetic, tone, and vibe of Star Wars to tell a Destiny story with Destiny characters. So Boba Fett is going to be left by the wayside here. Even if we can dress up as some other characters, that is not in canon, obviously. Will vault space be increased? Vault space is not changing in Edge of Fate, but we do have additional vault space and quality of life features planned for Renegades later this year. Stay tuned for details. My thinking is that this is going to be housing. I could be completely wrong, but it seems like a trope that RPGs really enjoy doing. And I was talking to my streamer about this, and it seems like what happens right now is when you load in, your ship starts flying in, and in the background, Destiny is basically having to load all of the like 3D models of all of your guns in your vault and everybody else's guns in their vault inside the tower at a given time, like a given tower instance. And that causes the load time to be really slow. And if they increase the vault space, then that means that that's going to be even slower and it's just going to cause a load of bloat that people don't want. Whereas if you've got your vault that is specific to your house, for instance, seeing as we've got Eris's flat in the game now as well, makes sense that we might have other Guardian flats too, then maybe we'll be able to see a world where you've got your own personal treasure chest and then it's just loading your vault as opposed to yours and everybody else's, and therefore it can be nice and sort of speedy and we can get the vault upgrade that we want. Maybe. Don't know if that's actually true or not, but that's what my chat was sort of speculating about based on what they understand of the way that it loads things in. So, let's keep going here. Will the new portal feature fully replace the director? As I pointed out further above, that's a terrible arrow, but the director is going to continue to be available through the Worlds tab next to the portal. Our goal with the portal is to get a more streamlined experience for all players to find the fun quickly and understand what's next for them to do in Destiny, which is really, really important. Some items were shown at 10 power in the stream. What the hell's going on there? We'll have more details on power caps and climbs in a future TWID, but can confirm that power will be rebased at launch. All players will have their power refreshed as we embark on this new journey. This is interesting because the wording on Twitter, I believe, was talking about a power squish. I think that's the word that I saw used. And presumably that's going to mean the current power that we're at is all going to get kind of crunched down to some lower numbers. We have just got the chest from the emissary from the Right of the Nine social space, and that gets you up to 2020 power, just like it's a full set of 2020 armor and stuff. So I don't think anybody is going to be like under light technically going into Edge of Fate. Like there's going to just be sort of a complete across the board flattening that is not going to feel like it's unfair to anyone because everyone's going to be at 2020. So that seems totally fine to me, but curious if you guys have any strong opinions about power squishes in the comments down below. Now, which stats are being rebalanced or replaced? This is an interesting one. As shown in the stream, many of our stats are being fully rebalanced or changed with the Edge of Fate. While we don't have exact details to share just yet, we are planning a full breakdown in June, alongside a lengthy article covering sandbox tuning between weapons and abilities. So that's a little ways off, June. there's still going to be a little bit of time for us to speculate there, but we do actually know a decent amount about how they're changing the, at least the sort of stats here. Let me just sort of scroll back up to it. These stats in the bottom right, these ones are something that we do kind of have an understanding of how they work from the Dev Insight articles last year. I made a video about this about a week ago, but basically you're going to have a kind of bar like this, which has a marker at 100, and then it's going to keep going to 200, and if you get your stat up to 100, then it gives you the sort of base ability, base stat. And then if you go anywhere between 100 and 200, it's then also going to unlock you this secondary effect, this like extra effect. So that should be pretty interesting to get more details on as well. I'm not 100% if that's what they're referring to here. I think it probably is, but I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of things being rebalanced and replaced as we go forward as well. What comes with the Year of Prophecy Ultimate Edition? That's just sort of some pre-order stuff. How much will a reward pass cost during the Edge of Prophecy, or sorry, the Year of Prophecy? Each of the 4 rewards passes, so that's 1 per expansion. No, sorry, that's 1 per major update, where 2 of the major updates are expansions and 2 of the major updates are just major updates. They will cost 1,000 silver. I guess a question for you guys is that normal? Like, is it normal for the battle pass to cost 1,000 silver? Does it normally cost 1,000 silver per episode? Like, how exactly has that worked in the past? I'm curious because I actually have no idea. They say they're jam-packed with cosmetics you know and love from years past, including an exotic weapon and a universal ornament set. Then moving into Right at the 9 here, they say our reveal stream also covered Right at the 9, a new activity where players old and new can jump right into some fan favorite dungeons. I will be doing them blind for the first time ever. I've never done these ones before. On contest for the first time ever. So like when Prophecy comes along, my first ever Prophecy experience will be contest Prophecy blind solving it, which should be pretty exciting, but that's going to take some weeks for us to get to. Looks like there's also a bunch of Bungie rewards that you can see here as well. They've got some cool snazzy stuff. I believe that some of this stuff was maybe on the table during the reveal stream, I think, perhaps. So that's that stuff there. Looks pretty nifty. Then heavy metal is coming. It's time to put your best pilot overalls on and rage against the machines in heavy metal. It's Briggs and Drake tanks. And I think that the fact that they've designed heavy metal is part of the reason why we're also seeing this wonderful thing now. This basically Guardian Pike that we can ride. So that's pretty cool. I'm a fan. And then there's also a pin as well. Do you guys collect pins like this? Is that a thing in Destiny? They kind of look like the dragons from Der Eisendrache. That's funny. There's also going to be a tournament. Oh, okay. A creator tournament for heavy metal. We were hoping to put on a great show, but unfortunately due to some last minute logistics and team availability changes, we weren't able to make this instance work out. Oh, okay. Never fear. We're doing our best to set something up again in the future. Cool. In the meantime, you'll be able to jump into the mayhem for yourself. You can get some emblems and stuff. They've also revealed this creator hub, which I'm in. I got invited into it, which is nice. It's nice to not be in a situation where, sort of similar to Activision over the years, I've sort of been on the outside a little bit. It's quite nice to be being welcomed in by the devs and everything, as well as the community. That's been a really nice feeling. So they basically say, if you're a streamer, video editor, lore specialist, artist, cosplayer, or any other form of content creator, would you like to be part of a tight-knit Destiny creator community? If so, you can apply. And there's an application form, which you can get to just here. And I encourage any of you to do it. If you're a creative person and you're making creative stuff and you're sort of keen to add to the Destiny universe in your own way, then why not give it a go? They will be flooded with applications. There are going to be like tens of thousands of applications, so don't expect them to get back to you super fast. Now, this is a really important update, the voice acting update, which I have an interesting and maybe unique perspective on because we've been through a lot of this in the zombies community where I come from, and it gets messy. It gets very messy. So it says, for our upcoming releases, some voice talent has been unavailable. I'm going to put that in kind of little quotation marks here. Unavailable for recordings. What that means is that there is a strike ongoing. There is a SAG-AFTRA strike ongoing. We'll talk more about that in a second. For the time being, to ensure a consistent player journey as we launch Destiny 2: The Edge of Fate, certain characters will have different voices in Right of the Nine or the Edge of Fate content. As examples for English casting, Orin, Chioma, and Ikora, will all have different voices. In some languages, Right of the Nine content will be silent, interesting, and the Edge of Fate will play English voiceover instead. As we did for Destiny 2 Heresy, subtitles for story content will be enabled by default to ensure narrative content is not missed. Within your gameplay settings, we offer a variety of customization options for subtitles to help with accessibility and general visibility of narrative content. You can alter their size, color, background, and show the speaker's name and more before the launch of future content to prepare for introductory sequences and cutscenes. Now, this is fascinating that Bungie are going about this way, because in the zombies community, we had this issue come up where a bunch of actors working on Black Ops 6 were not technically required by SAG to strike. Like, they were not working on a struck project, as it's called in Black Ops 6, and so they didn't need to strike, but they felt the personal compulsion to not work in solidarity with their colleagues who were striking on struck work. However, not all of the voice actors felt that exact same personal compulsion, and if you are not working on a piece of struck work, then there's no reason, there's no obligation that you have to strike in solidarity. That's just not a thing that SAG requires. So you're not scabbing if you stay working on a non-struck project. You're just continuing to do your job. It's whatever, right? But there was a blend of some people that did choose to stop working on Black Ops 6, whereas others who wanted to still work on it. And so that meant that the Black Ops 6 devs had to sort of figure out, like, holy cow, what do we do about the fact that we've lost some voices but not others? That's very strange. Now, my understanding of what Bungie's done so far, based on what my chat has told me, is that Bungie has taken this approach a fair bit, and they've had silent voices. So the voice actors that have not wanted to continue to work on Destiny 2, which I assume is also not struck, otherwise there'd be no voice actors working on it, right? Because it's probably all SAG. So the voice actors that felt that personal compulsion to stand with their colleagues and strike, basically, they would be silent in the content, and then the other actors that still wanted to continue working would continue being voiced, and that was sort of just fine. They weren't recasting. And so it's interesting to me now, and I don't have the full historical context of this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's interesting to me now that based on the fact that that voice talent has probably been unavailable for quite a long time now, we're now going to be seeing some new characters, presumably, who are going to be getting new voicings, or in being the, like, hooded figure that I think we saw in the Edge of Fate, like, sort of reveal-y stuff during that stream. And then also, I mean, Ikora, I don't know who Chioma is, but Ikora being recast is kind of wild, right? Like, that's pretty crazy. The challenge with the situation here is that there's really no path to any movement in a positive direction without the game publishers signing these things called interim agreements with SAG-AFTRA. And that will guarantee their voice actors protections against the AI clauses in contracts that they're worried about. And it's basically like a temporary deal. And then the issue then is that no one really wants to go first and be the first person to do it. If Bungie's working with Sony, for example, or if Activision's part of Microsoft, for example, or you've got these other big publishers that have then the other corporate partners or what have you, like there's a lot of sort of dominoes that will all need to fall at the same time in order for there to be progress on this. And so as much as we should encourage publishers to sign those interim agreements with SAG-AFTRA, between the publishers and SAG-AFTRA, it's a very big issue, and it's not a Bungie-specific issue at all. I've done a very in-depth video on this about the Black Ops 6 situation if you want to watch it. It's a whole whiteboard video. I'll link that in the description down below. But it's interesting to see that Bungie is moving from the silent character angle and now actually having to do a bit of recasting, as has happened in Black Ops 6 with Samantha. The Samantha AI specifically. So we'll have to sort of wait and see what the community reaction is going to be like to that. And if you'd like me to do a sort of more dedicated video about that in Bungie's case specifically, then by all means let me know and I can kind of cook that up for you guys. So then if we scroll down here, there's some stuff about some quests being fixed, some Cruel Mercy clarification, and then some known issues stuff. And I'm actually going to avoid reading this myself just because there might be spoilers for raids and stuff that I haven't done. So I'm just going to sort of scroll past here. And if you want to kind of take a look at some of that stuff, then you're absolutely welcome to. And then they finished off with the Artist of the Week stuff. And actually, there's something I want to specifically call out, which is this. This was a really, really cool video. You can watch it yourself. I'll link it in the description down below. A little bit of Destiny music for you to jam out to on this Thursday evening. So hopefully you've enjoyed this first ever Milo reading a TWAB video. Any feedback you've got, please let me know. If you want me to read every single thing, or if you want me to jump around to different things a little bit more, or whatever, then I'm absolutely open to feedback and suggestions. I think that that's basically everything in here right now, so I think I've covered pretty much everything I can. Thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you next week for another one. Should we make this a regular thing? You guys let me know. All right, thanks, folks. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.